Welcome to our presentation on our EDA analysis. Here we will conduct an analysis about the different build styles sold across the United States. Okay, let's explore the objectives. First of all, we're going to give a brief introduction. Then we are going to mention important facts about Budweiser. After that, we will define IBU, which is the level of bitterness in a drink, and ABV, which is the percentage of alcohol. Afterwards, we will define the difference between an IPA and a pale beer. An IPA has a high level of IBU and ABV. It has a bigger flavor. Yeah. Okay. And finally, we will answer the different questions and analysis in this EDA project. Now we are gonna see the analysis of the number of breweries in each state in the United States. This analysis might be very useful for Budweiser. Here we have the top 5. These states are the most popular in terms of the number of breweries. And again, this might be beneficial because they can develop advertising strategies, especially in these states, because of the high volume of the demand in each state. Another important analysis is the top breweries in the United States, right? Again, this might be very useful for Budweiser because they can focus on these breweries and they can develop several strategies in order to bring more profit to the company. Analysis of missing values. Data cleansing is one of the important early steps in the data analytic process. That's why handling missing values is so relevant. We have two data sets in this EDA project. We have the beers data set and the brewery data set. In terms of the beers data set, we have two variables with missing values. The first one is ABV, the level of alcohol, with 62 missing values, and the other one is IBU with 1005 missing values. We would use different approaches in order to deal with each case. In terms of ABV, we would use the arithmetic mean to replace these missing values. And when it comes to IBU, we would use the KNN imputation method in order to replace these missing values. As we explained before, we use the arithmetic mean to replace the missing values of the ABV variable, and this is the resulting distribution after we apply this procedure. It is very similar to the initial distribution. In terms of the IBU variable, the procedure was more challenging because of the large number of missing values, 1005. Replacing the missing values as we did with the ABV variable was not an option because we will have a distribution like this, very different from the initial distribution. That's why we decided to find a sophisticated method, a different method. Okay, first of all, there's a positive relationship between ABV and IBU. And all this idea gave us the possibility of implementing KNN imputation method because we can predict the missing value based on these variables, right? And finally, this is the resulting distribution, very similar to the initial distribution, and that's what we did to replace the missing value for IBU. In this slide, we are explaining the median ABV and IBU by state. This information can become very strategic for Budweiser, and we are going to explain why. For example, here we have the top 5 ABV beer in each state, and in this map we have the top 5 IBU beers in each state. So they can design a strategy in each of these states. They might launch a new product, or they can increase their advertising strategy, promoting beer styles according to the taste of the people in each state. So that's how this information can become really important for Budweiser. According to the information we are presenting here, we can make the conclusion that the ABV variable has a right skew distribution. For one thing, the mean is greater than the median, and for the other, the skewness is between 0.5 and 1. And when all these conditions happen, all this is evidence that we are in the presence of a right skew distribution. Relationships between IBU and ABV. As we can see here in the plot, the data suggests that there's a strong positive linear relationship between both variables. The correlation coefficient also confirms this relationship. When the correlation coefficient is close to 1, it means that there's a strong association between both variables, and our correlation coefficient is 0.74. So again, the correlation coefficient confirms this association between both variables. Difference between an IPA and a pale beer types. As we have mentioned before, according to the information we researched on the Budweiser website, an IPA beer types will have a high level of IBU, bitterness, and high level of alcohol, right? The opposite is also true. And pale beer types will have a lower level of ABV and IBU. Okay, we also use the KNN algorithm in order to confirm and prove this difference. The accuracy of the algorithm of KNN is very high when we consider ABV and IBU as an input in the algorithm. The accuracy is almost 81%. So, as a result of that, KNN could easily classify both groups of beers, right? So, because of that, we state that there's a clear difference between both groups of beers in terms of ABV and IBU. We have two final recommendations for the Budweiser. In the first map, we can see the number of beer types by each state. For example, California has a large number of beer styles, so it seems that the demand is very high in this state. Budweiser can design a strategy in this important state. Okay, on the other side of the picture, we can see here the most important and most popular beer styles in the United States, right? Budweiser doesn't have an style, an American IPA beer, so maybe they can. This is an opportunity to launch a new product in this category in order to bring more income to the company. Thank you very much for attending to our presentation.